What's up, guys? I'm Johnny Kahn, and you're listening to Kahnation's Matters of the Occult, where we talk about the supernatural and paranormal with great respect and curiosity. The following stories are based on true accounts. Let's begin. My friend's house is like hella haunted. I believe a family died there, but the house and property is just old. A couple of things happened there. I used to sleep in the garage in the backyard. On the other side is just basically storage. There has always been shuffling and noise, and little footsteps and children laughing and playing. And when you go look, there'd be nothing. Nothing would be there. One night, I tried to just ignore it and just try to go back to sleep, but I couldn't. It was loud. And then I felt the indentation of someone sit down on my bed next to me. I got up to see who was there. It was no one. The same house, I saw an older man sitting on the other side of the garage, where I'd hear the children. I used to smoke cigarettes. The noises would wake me up, so I went for a smoke, and I put it out. I'd always put my butts in a soda can so they wouldn't be all over and so they'd go out and not cause fire. I smelled tobacco smoke, so I went to go look, and there was an older gentleman smoking an old pipe. You could see right through him. He was almost transparent, but like TV static. He just nodded and kind of faded away as well. The following story takes place at a Marine base in 2002, in the beginning of the year, sometime around March, right before April. I was there stationed for my MOS school, which is a wire school for field wire construction. I was there with another couple of guys who witnessed this event, along with me. It was like 3 other dudes. And so what we would do when we were at that stage of our training was like right after boot camp and combat training and all that, we would stay up late at night and get drunk. Someone would sneak us some alcohol and we get faded. We would hang out in front of our rooms like really late at night and be drinking. And so this took place. These barracks were like little apartment buildings. There was like 3 stories to them. And each story was split up laterally by breezeways, which is like concrete outdoor little walkways that you can walk from one side of the building to the other. And so we were hanging out on the 3rd story on the very far right of the building, at the very top floor, around the 3rd floor. And so my buddies and I were up drinking, hanging out, talking. Around this time, it was known that one of the females was boning one of the dudes in the class. The other side of the breezeway was the female side of the barracks. There was not many females, so they always had a guard standing on each end of the breezeway to make sure guys were not going over there. However, the females were free to leave, obviously. They were confined to their barracks, so they were free to leave whenever they wanted. So, this female, which we will call Jane, was boning one of the dudes in the class, which we will call Josh, who was a meth head from Florida. Now he was in the Marine Corps. So, late one night, we're hanging out in front of the homies' quarters. We're just getting faded, and through the breezeway on the other side, we can hear footsteps from the female side. So, everybody assumed it was Jane, who's boning Josh. So, we're hanging out, and we're hearing these really slow, groggy steps coming down the breezeway. The steps were loud and clear, but they were also dragging, the way a groggy person would make that didn't want to pick up their feet too much. Also, the steps didn't sound like they were made by a very large person or a very small person. They were like evenly spaced. It sounds like it was a full-grown adult, 1, 2, 1, 2, that was walking down the breezeway, but like dragging their feet, 1, 2, 1, 2, in a cadence on which this person was dragging their feet across this concrete breezeway. We were on the other side and we can clearly hear these steps. So the four of us look at each other and went, that's definitely Jane coming to this side, because it's really late at night. It was like little past midnight, and we're like, that's definitely Jane coming to this side of the barracks. So we gotta give her a hard time. So the four of us stack up against the edge of the wall, which is like the end of the hallway. We could hear these steps, and the crazy part was that in no time during this time did any of us assume that there was not going to be someone there, because we could hear the steps getting louder. We could feel the vibration of the steps on the concrete next to us. So in our head, this person is coming down this breezeway. Whoever it is, we're 100% sure it's going to be this chick Jane. So we all stack up at the edge of the wall, and we decided as soon as she comes around, we're going to jump out and scare the crap out of her. We're going to jump out and scream. Loudest scream ever. It's going to freak the crap out of her, because she's coming down the breezeway like half asleep. So it's going to be easy scaring the crap out of her. So the four of us are posted against the wall. I remember my homeboy Badness. He was like this little rich white boy from Philadelphia. They call him Badness, the white pimp. And there was this other guy called Kazim. He was like the recon guy from Heartbreak Ridge. Just a goofy Jim Carrey-like kind of guy. There was also this other Cuban guy, I forgot his name. And we're just really enjoying the fact we're about to scare the crap out of this chick. And so we hear the steps coming up. We're all fighting back laughter. And we're all getting ready to jump out. And right as soon as we felt the footsteps stop, and we heard them stop, and we felt the presence of a person stop right at the edge of the hallway, for which we were no less than an inch away from. We were right there. We all jumped out as fast as we could. We all were about to start screaming, and everyone got caught off mid-scream. No one got the chance to scream. Instead, we all just stared down an empty breezeway. There's nothing there, just the sound of wind, nothing. So we freaked out and ran back to the room, which is like 2 doors away. And so we just sat there for 20 minutes in silence. And then we started talking about it, and we were like, what the hell just happened? There was supposed to be a person there, and then there wasn't. And then we started rationalizing it. We started talking about it. Then we started to recreate the sound. We had someone go downstairs and do it. We started asking the fire watches. In the military, they are like security guards to make sure nobody is breaking in or whatever. And so we started asking, have you seen anybody walking around? Nobody has seen anybody but us. We were the only 4 walking around. That was on the weekend, I remember. When I was there during comm school, the instructors would tell us to leave on the weekend. Later we found out that the barracks we lived in were basically haunted. So we all came into class sleepy as hell. And then the instructors asked us why we're all sleepy. We explained to them we just experienced a paranormal experience the night before. And then they said, okay, well, you guys just realized the barracks are haunted. So basically, that's why we kicked you guys out at the weekend. Because people are known to become depressed in the barracks and kill themselves. And they asked, have any of you guys been feeling depressed lately? It was like some Freddy Krueger shit. Everybody has said, dude, I've been thinking of suicide. And everybody was all like, yes, so have I. I have never thought about these things before. So, apparently, according to the instructors, the footsteps we heard was the sound of a guy like, I think, in the 70s or 80s, who tied some slash wire around his neck, and at the other end of the breezeway, and then ran down to the other side of the breezeway where we were at. He jumped off and he killed himself.